Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. I want to talk to you about a post that I saw on Facebook the other day. And it was a set of screenshots, and I want to kind of describe it to you and why I decided to make this a podcast. So I'm in this group, right? And in the group, a gentleman, he posted some screenshots, and the initial post says, and the post was from his daughter, Tiffany. We'll just call her Tiffany to protect the guilty. It says, "My man was in charge of my birthday cake this year, and my dad wasn't too happy about it. I mean, I'm grown, and he's just being dramatic." So that was her post. And then there was a post, a screenshot of a picture, and then a picture of a text message or text messages that were exchanged. Now, the picture that was posted underneath her caption was a picture of a birthday cake. And again, Tiffany says that her man was in charge of the birthday cake. And I will read to you what it says on her birthday cake. It says, "Happy birthday," in letters across the cake in multiple colors. And then in pink letters, it says, "Best pussy ever." So apparently, Tiffany's man decided to have that scripted across the cake. And subsequently, Tiffany's dad, let's call him Earl, wasn't too happy about it. And so Tiffany posted, Earl posted screenshots of the text messages that were exchanged between he and his daughter, Tiffany. And the text message, and I'm going to read as follows. So the initial text that is screenshot was Tiffany starting the text messages with her father, Earl. So you can follow along. Tiffany says, "I wanted to wait until after everyone left to ask, why did you get mad and leave? It was a gathering for my birthday, and it hurt my feelings to see you just up and leave." Earl responded, "Tiffany, that shit was highly disrespectful. The cake, I mean. Your mother and I were there, and that's your cake, and your friend decided to pick it up. It was very distasteful. You're still my little girl at the end of the day." Her response, "It wasn't that deep. I just feel like you're being dramatic, as always. It's obvious you don't like him." Earl's response, "It's not about me liking someone, Tiffany. It's about being decent and having some damn respect. I think your father wants to eat a birthday cake that showcases how good. No, I think your father doesn't want to eat a birthday cake that showcases how good his daughter's private parts are. Hell no." She responds, "I still don't understand why you're mad. It was just a joke, okay? I'm 27. I'm not a child." Earl responds, "It's all about respect. Look, we'll talk more about this tomorrow." And she responds, "There's nothing else for us to talk about, honestly." And then he signs off with the screenshot saying, the caption saying, "I'm always going to be a dad," because this was his post. "I'm always going to be a dad, and I ain't going along with everything that's supposed to be accepted. Yeah, you're grown, but ... We have a conundrum here. If you did not follow, I'll recap it again. Their birthday party is a celebration for Tiffany and her birthday. Tiffany's parents, Earl and Stephanie, are there, as well as her friends. And Tiffany's man decides to get her a birthday cake And on the cake, it says happy birthday, and then it says best pussy ever. And Earl didn't like it. And he subsequently left without speaking to Tiffany about his displeasure for what was written on the cake. I think that's very childish on Tiffany's part. Now, full disclosure, 12 Kyle is a father. Based on these text messages and the screenshots, Tiffany's 27 years old. I don't have a 27-year-old. My oldest child is 25 at the time of this recording. And that's my son. We do have a daughter. We have 3 sons, ages 25, 22, and 18. And our daughter's 13. So I have not gotten to the point where Earl is with his daughter, right? So my daughter's 13, so she's not getting a cake like that. But I tried to put myself in Earl's shoes, and I said, well, what if your daughter, your pride and joy, my baby, Skylar, if she had that, if she was 27 years old, same scenario, and her boyfriend put that on a cake? I mean, listen, every parent has to come to the realization that at some point, their child, their baby, is going to be sexually active, male or female, right? Because the reality is that was you at one point, and I can speak for myself. I mean, at one point, I went from being a child to, getting down, and I don't necessarily know how easy or hard that was for my parents to accept. It wasn't something that I threw in their face. I think they probably just realized it over a period of time. And as a teenager, you try to be as discreet as possible. But here's the thing, folks. You know when your kids are getting busy. And there's a certain look, there's a certain feel, there's a certain way that you carry yourself. Your parents know. So you ain't hiding it from nobody. I think, and you guys who followed me, y'all know my motto. Like, I don't believe that anybody over 21 is a virgin. I'm sorry. I'm not buying. And if you're in your 40s and you say you're a virgin, you're a damn liar. But that's just my opinion. But that's beside the point. I mean, so Earl knows that Tiffany is sexually active, and she's been with this guy, I guess, for some time because he felt comfortable enough to put that on a cake. But that's childish. And I'm almost certain, and I don't know these people, but I'm almost certain that she saw that cake, or at the very least, she got wind that cake was going to be written on the cake, and so I blame Tiffany in this, and I blame her boyfriend, Raheem, because Raheem was dead wrong. That's not something you do. If it was just going to be a party with him and her, meaning Raheem and Tiffany, cool. You can write whatever you want to write on the cake because you probably going to put that cake over her naked body at some point that night. But amongst other people, and in particular her parents, I mean, listen, you don't have to advertise that, you knocking it down. Her parents clearly know that you're knocking it down, particularly if y'all live together. They can only assume that you're knocking it down. That being said, have a little class, Raheem. And Tiffany, you don't have to be that childish. I mean, like, the fact that Tiffany took the stance of being offended that her father left. I mean, like, what was her father supposed to do? Was he supposed to stand there and be in on the joke as everybody else was and kind of laugh? I don't know how old Earl is, but that ain't ever going to be funny. I mean, like, we've all seen fathers giving their daughters away at their wedding. I mean, like, that is the formal transfer of a man giving his daughter away to another man. And then, for some, they procreate and have children. So sex is a part of the deal when you get married. But I mean, I don't even know if these people are married, but you get what I'm saying. Nonetheless, I mean, that's childish, Tiffany. Why Tiffany, if you're listening or if you're watching, thank you for watching on YouTube. I appreciate you. Here's the thing. you have to understand, you have to put yourself in your dad's shoes. He's always going to see you as his baby girl. But at the same time, like, have a little common sense. Like, that was foul. You out of bounds for that. You out of pocket. And I blame Raheem, her boyfriend, but I also blame Tiffany because she had to have signed off on this. And if not, she presented it. Let's just say she didn't know. Even if she didn't know, there has to be something where Raheem got the idea of, hey, let me write this on this cake, best pussy ever. But in reality, if you know that her parents are coming, that's disrespectful. So she's childish and he's disrespectful. And if I'm a man, if I'm her father, Earl, me and Raheem are going to have a talk. And no, it's not about me knocking his lights out, giving him a knuckle sandwich, which I could, but we're going to have an understanding. Like, young man, that ain't cool. And disrespect is never tolerated. And that's disrespectful. That's disrespect. I mean, really, not only is it disrespectful to Earl and his wife, but it's also disrespectful to Tiffany. I mean, because some things are just, it's not meant for public consumption. And the crazy part about it is not only was Tiffany making, was she giddy about the cake, but she was taking pictures of the cake. I mean, like, you're 27. Everything ain't for everybody. We have to get to a point where some things are just kept in the house, or some things are just kept in the bedroom, or some things are just kept to ourselves, or some things just not even talked about. But that was foul. And Tiffany, that's very childish. And, she seemed to have somewhat of an attitude with her father and not really understanding where he's coming from. And I think Earl has every right to be mad or upset or disappointed or hurt or all of the above. It's sometimes you got to keep stuff to yourself. And this was one thing where I think Tiffany overstepped her boundaries, and she was very childish, and she took a very childish stance about that. And now how you remedy this situation, I think Raheem and Tiffany need to go sit down and have a conversation with Earl. And it has to be some apologizing being done, because I don't think Earl was wrong at all. I think if you want to find fault, you can find fault in Tiffany. And again, I don't know Tiffany from anybody, but to see that on a birthday cake, and it's been put out on Facebook for public consumption, and I can only imagine this on IG as well. That's a lot, right? That's crass. And at some point, we have to look at ourselves, and before we do certain things, we got to ask ourselves the $1 million question. Why am I doing this? Am I doing it for clicks? Am I doing it for likes? Am I doing it for a discussion? Or maybe I'm just doing it because I want attention. And attention ain't good for everybody. And this is definitely one situation that this ain't some attention that you want, because the attention that you got from it, it makes everybody look bad. More specifically, Tiffany, makes you look bad. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I want to thank you all for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We drop new episodes every Thursday and every Sunday at midnight. If you're on YouTube, check us out on YouTube. We have probably over 600 videos. Subscribe there. Share the podcast with your friends on YouTube as well. And then hit the notification button. That way you get notifications when we drop new episodes. If you're on social media, it's 12 Kyle podcast across the board. Also, we have a new baby. It is called the Soul Podcast. It is a music podcast. It is the best music podcast that you've never heard. So you should definitely check it out. On the podcast, we talk about music and artists when it comes to hip hop, R&B. We talk about music and artists from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Trust me, it's the best music podcast that you've never heard. So you should definitely check it out. If you want to contribute to us financially, hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. We also have merch. look in the description box, and there's a link that says merch. Click that link. You can buy 12 Kyle Podcast t-shirts, hoodies, as well as coffee mugs. We got it for the low. Again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Cheers.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle Podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle Podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.